probably going to be about more for me and probably two or three other people who I know have a resonance of idea of what I'm talking about. And that's not me trying to be funny. Um, everything within here, everything within this level of existence is basically potential anything. Anything can be anything, if that makes sense to you. My perspective can be countered by your perspective. The possibility of what I think is real could be countered by the possibility of what you think is real. And that's the way existence works. There is no truth. There is no definite lie. Everything is perspective. Well, we function under the ideology of a collective. We function as many individual thoughts that all have a correlated point that make us all have a correlated existence. We all eat, sleep, drink under the same idea of living on planet Earth. So, not to get too deep into rambling, around 2018, some of the things I was working on were presenting the idea that, holy shit, a lot of timelines were coming to an end. Peace to you all. A lot of things I was working with 2018 was basically saying, hey, look, you motherfuckers don't do enough work for yourselves, and so everything that has been trying to work you over has been winning. Everything that has been trying to corrupt the human experience, everything that have been pushing for their own personal agendas, and you can get all fucking fancy with that shit and start talking about reptilians and draconians and blah blah this and the Illuminati. It don't matter. It really wouldn't matter what name you put at the end of it, whether it's a Christian or a satanic person. Not that there's a real difference between them two, but you get what I'm saying? You could start pointing the finger at who was doing it, but the bottom line was the common thing being spoke about in the spiritual realms, at least from my channelings and my workings, where basically everything was saying, hey, y'all got a bunch of timelines that have been invested in because y'all don't invest your energy properly, and they're imploding because it's too much energy. It took way more energy. I mean, like it was like, say with predictive programming, things were coming into people's dreams and showing them nightmares, and the people were waking up feeding the nightmares. So now the nightmares were starting to have higher points of probability, get it bigger chances of becoming real. And it was like, holy, we didn't expect it to be that easily. All we had to do was show you the picture, and then you won't let it go. Just really that simple. We were being shown shit, and people were waiting on it to happen. And the things that were more or less wanting these quote-unquote Simpson-type timelines to happen, these Mandela effects, they were getting way more than they were asking for, and they were unprepared for the results. You understand it? If one timeline was wanting for more people to feed fear here, then that group won that battle. But another counter group was like, well, hey, well, give us some energy because we want you to feed this level of fear so that we feel our power. So now you got two timelines filled with fear where there should have only been one, and really that one should have been none. So now you got two timelines with fear traveling next to each other, feeding into each other and out of each other, and basically imploding timeline events within. I really wish I could explain it more simple. Let's just look at it this way. From my perspective and my experience, in almost every timeline, there are common events that will never change. You get it? In every timeline, there are always going to be some version of something that happens the same. It's a marker point. Well, in saying that there were marker points that were always the same, the energies that were bouncing around that same point start drawing in all those different points. So you had converging timelines, and all of them were basically built off of impending doom or lower vibrational energy. And if you know anything about fucking energy, you get too much low vibrational energy together, then that shit gets destructive. Gets fucking destructive. So basically shit started getting destructive around 2018. It was what I was told, and these were the words that I was given. It's a manifestation portal. Because time is collapsing, time has to be reset. So at that point, the end of 2018, all of 2018, we had all kind of super heavy retrogrades. It was like a Saturn retrograde year for like the first 9 months. You had Mercury retros, your Venus retro. Venus kicked everybody ass. Everybody wanted to fuck everybody in 2018. Venus retro, like this Venus retro we got going on now, is making people vindictive and feel sorry for themselves in love and question love and all that other shit. That one in 2018, if you go back to your timelines, everybody wanted to rub their titties and rub their dick all day long on that Venus retro. That Venus retro was a horny Venus retro. Everybody just wanted to, ooh, fuck me. This one is, ooh, why are you fucking with me? So we had all these erratic energies tied around the retros where you were already supposed to be working on yourself while still being sucked away into different timelines. Your energy that you don't own, your deflective traumas and shit. You had personal shit that you were being destructive within yourself, and you had energy being pulled out of you to support certain levels of energetic destruction, aka the timelines. And if you don't understand that some things, let's just say certain species of entities or aliens, it don't matter what you want to call them, they're all different forms of the same anyway. Some of them get off on building timelines of destruction so they can reap the benefits of holding the destruction together. That's how you get galactic federations and councils and shit like that. That's how you get the idea for Star Wars. Those are all timelines. But long story short, like I was saying, in 2018, we had internal destruction, which was help sponsor external destruction in the perception of time. Time comes from here. And we were doing nothing about it except for bitching, griping, and moaning about how nobody was saving us. You know, more of the same bullshit we do now. Well, the instructions I was given at the end of 2018 was try and conduct something to help offset the manifestation portal that was sucking in the energy, which in turn was making it a manipulation portal, because it was all your energy had already been manipulated because you're feeding bad timelines. So that means manifestation was based off of manipulation. So 2019, I had 195 different people help me. We did a manifestation portal. It actually was put together January 19th of 2019. So we put that together. That was designed, supposed to be, from my level of workings, is to channel in positive energy to create a more positive timeline. There were certain species I was working with, Hathors and different other alien species that did not have names, purported entities, deities, angels, the whole fucking nine, shit that I work with traditionally anyway. A lot more came into play around that time, and we're like, okay, look, well, hell, you know, y'all perception are part of our perception, so fuck it, we'll all help each other. We were supposed to be working on building a new timeline, and the deadline was supposed to be in the vernal equinox of 2019. It was supposed to be March 19th, 2019. You had the choice, the Aquarian choice is what it was being called. The energy from all the timelines that were converging and basically exploding, they reworked the energy through the Aquarian field. And that means the Aquarian sector of the universe. So the Aquarian field was supposed to be the new transit point for time itself, the main timeline that was going to be converged. And there was a manifestation portal where the opportunity for energy was dump your realizations that, holy shit, this is my energy, I have to manifest for me. You were supposed to dump the energy into the Aquarian field as the Aquarian energy itself, the source. Holy shit, nothing happens unless I do it. And then take responsibility for what you were manifesting. Or you were going to fall prey into manipulation by wanting to fix the shit that was already broken. Which is, again, like I said, this is what we do every year. We try and fix the same shit that's broken and then get mad when we only get the same, when the whole problem is we're fixing the same shit that's already broken. It's not broken. It's done its job. It's designed to be wasteful energy. And instead of us fixing it by using more fresh and clean energy with direct purpose, we direct our purpose to the same shit that already showed you it ain't gonna work. So 2019, we just dumped more energy into a fucking manifestation portal of nothingness, and we wonder why We kept going through more of that bullshit. 2019, around April, if I'm not mistaken. Again, it was another the bullshit of consciousness shift, and oh my god, we're going to transfer to the 5D, and it's the time that the archons are going to fall apart, and the Pleiadians and Arcturians are going to come help us, or the Muapians are going to come back because your black DNA is what's the strongest thing in the universe, even though you're the most fucking enslaved. You know, more deflective shit instead of owning the fact that, holy shit, even if there is something outside of me, whatever the fuck is outside of me is operating outside of me, and my ass is the one in here fucking struggling. Instead of looking at shit from the reality standpoint of it and taking responsibility for your own fate, you kept consigning your fate into something that you thought was going to mystically and magically come save you. So 2019, we just dumped energy into change. But instead of it being transmutation, getting rid of bullshit, we just transformed the shit because we had already an idea of what we wanted to see. What we wanted to see. And what did we see in 2019? More the fucking same. Which led us into 2020. Holy shit, the fucking vision test. This old bastard here was trying to tell you this shit since 2019. Hey, got more guidance. 2020 is the vision test. Nothing will be real, what you see, because it's dimensionally layered, but it's only layered to show you the things that keep you where the fuck you're at. But oops. High COVID. High fear. High everything. High this time in 2020, the April pink pussy moon, I think is what I called it, around April 2020. The pink pussy moon had lined up perfectly within certain features within this perceived universe to where it was a consciousness shift. Only your consciousness does not shift if you're still shitting yourself with the same stuff. So as I labeled it, it was a consciousness shit. But again, more glamorization. We kept getting fed that fucked up 5D ideology that everything is just going to be fine if you just don't do nothing and wait for the DNA upgrades that you didn't earn. And in April, we had that moon that lined up, the birthing moon, and we birthed more of the fucking same. Our own goddamn complacency and our own idiocracy and our own fucking foolishness and easiness to be fucking fooled. We patted ourselves on the back for doing nothing and still thinking that the swamp was being drained and the government was going to change itself and everybody else that was already hateful was going to stop hating you out of the blue. You get what I'm saying? We expected more by doing less and wanted to see something different. Lazy as fuck. So in April, we had the birthing moon. We birthed the consciousness shit. We lied to ourselves, and now all we saw was the lie itself. But only if you don't know that you're lying to yourself, it looks like the truth. That's what you hear me talk about, the illusion of separation all the time. If you don't know it's a fucking lie, it's your truth. If you don't know that the shit that you're going through is basically a vision of your limits, you think you're unlimited in what you're seeing. So we went through that, and then I think 3 months later, which is your gestational period as far as cosmic thought processing, we had the Scorpio moon. Well, the Scorpio moon, which was a death moon, was, okay, you gave birth to something. This was your time to abort. And I don't mean any offense to this to my goddesses, but this is talking cosmically as far as energy. We birthed it in April, and by that 7th month, right before we got around into the autumn equinox, we had the chance to abort what we birthed. It's kind of like a cosmic contrarian thing. You can give birth to something, but you don't have to keep it. That's just a cosmic law that a lot of people aren't familiar with. So we had a chance to use the Scorpio energy and kill everything that we created, because we created only more of the same. But people love what they created because, again, we were at 2020, a lie, a fucking vision test where you've only seen the shit that you got attached to. And to back that up, remember in January of 19th of that year, well, actually at the beginning of January, I got another grid tasking, the Dragon's Wheel grid, because things were coming and saying to me, which I already was aware of anyway, is that, holy shit, the heart's fucked up. The heart has attachment problems. And the heart is attached to everything it thinks it's seeing by this newfound third eye everybody think they got. But your third eye is only seeing based off of where you've been lied to. So if your third eye is only being seeing the shit that you've been lied to about, is not what you see in a lie? But people couldn't grasp that because you were so deep into your spirituality and feeling good about seeing more than the less that you was, that you didn't understand that the more that you were seeing was just a fucking figmentation of what was already less. Oops. So you don't want to accept the fact that, holy shit, I keep embracing fucking lies because these new lies feel better than the old lies. So your heart attached to everything that it wanted without realizing why it was wanting it and what it was doing to help create it. So we did the Dragon's Wheel grid, and that time, oh god, what was it? Was 9 wheels of 20. It was 180 different stones and entities and energies, humans and all kinds of things that had worked with me on that one. That one was crazy. So 2020, we did the Dragon's Wheel grid, and that was supposed to detach the heart, take it into non-attachment, not detachment, but non-attachment. So if you do 2020, you'll see me talk about non-attachment that whole year. Non-attachment and clarity, non-attachment and clarity, non-attachment and reciprocity. If you keep wanting things based off of your egoic needs, then you're only feeding your ego. And that's what we were doing that whole 2020, the vision test. We were only focusing and tunneling in on what we wanted to see, but not being smart enough to understand that we were wanting to see things that were being programmed into us by government, by society, by families, by friends, by self, and by things beyond your scopes of imagination. Things that are actually out here, even within this illusion of separation. Things that are actually smart enough to use the separation itself. To get a little mystic with it, just like saying the machines learned how to use the matrix, or the Merovingian learned how to use the matrix to his advantage. That shit's real out here. There are things that even within the illusion of separation have learned how to hold themselves together within the illusion. And they'll take an unwitting energy, such as humans who arrogantly think that they understand shit that you probably could never fucking fathom in your fucking life. But you'll tell yourself you understand it anyway. So you're prime real estate out here to a lot of things. Won't say older, but much more experience in energy. So we're cannon fodder out here. So we were still being used all of 2020. We got fed another lie. Well, wait around November, you're going to get a DNA upgrade, especially you melanated people. You've been through so much that when it comes around November, you're going to wake up and you'll be able to fly and walk through walls, and everybody who done you wrong will be ready to be paid back. So more fear energy was being fed off of from ignorance and arrogance. And people, instead of being diligent about working through their own bullshit so that you're not attached, holy shit, Dragon Wheels Grid, so that you're not attached to the idea of needing reciprocity, which was really revenge, needing reparations and all that bullshit. You don't need something from the same motherfuckers who only gave you bad energy, which you should have used as a life lesson, no matter what your color is. You should not want to exchange your energy with people who are not on your level. We never really learned that lesson. So that whole 2020, we were still lying to ourselves from what we manipulated in 2019, where we were already manipulated in 2018. And now the only thing we saw in 2020 was the results of our own manipulation. And they peppered it by engineering things in nature and inundating us with it. Corona, hyping up other stuff that got going on. The food program went into hyperdrive. Shit that was already unnatural got even more unnatural. Our food is basically non-existent now. Who knows what the fuck we're eating? I don't give a fuck if you want to pat yourself on the back and say that you're a vegan and all that shit. Even this plant-based shit ain't even real. And even if you're going to sit there and say, but I grow my own food, unless you were the one that shitted that seed itself, you might be in question too. Most of the fertilizer ain't real. Most of the dirt ain't real. Most of the nutrients ain't real. The water ain't fucking natural or real. If it comes from a water table, it's probably got Prozac and Tylenol and about 95 other different fucking cocktails of medicines in it, because that's what shit goes into the landfill, and the landfill goes into the earth goes into the water table. Holy shit, Batman, use fucking common sense. Shut the fuck up sometimes. A lot of y'all. Really. Shut the fuck up, because y'all talk too much bullshit about how your level of what you're doing is so much better than everybody else's, but we all sitting here and we have killed this fucking planet. we have killed Gaia. We have put her up against the fucking wall to where she is making a fucking choice. And that was my big thing in 2020, was working with Gaia in 2021 too. And it hurt me in some of my work, and I ain't gonna even fucking lie. It gives me the chills thinking back on it now. To feel energy on a level that is choosing between itself and its children. And if you're a fucking parent, and I'm sorry, I'm a parent and a fucking grandparent, that's a dangerous fucking mindset where you are choosing between taking your children out or saving yourself. I don't wish that energy on any fucking human, let alone a biospheric entity who is dealing with a bunch of selfish ass fucking lower energetic signatures who think that they are more than what the fuck they are. When they are more than what they are, but they're stuck in thinking they are what they are. If you know what the fuck I mean. So 2020, the vision test, we were waiting on to see shit when we hadn't even made enough sight within ourselves. We didn't have enough recognition with ourselves, and we were being shown new levels of fear. And we took the fear and we ran with it. We wanted people to master us. We wanted people to enslave us. Put us in a house. Put us in isolation. Tell us how to heal. You wanted the same motherfuckers who was killing us to heal us. The same people who were spraying the skies. The same people who was telling you, no. Hi, we're the FDA, and it's okay to get a Coke with all kind of unnatural ingredients, but don't drink real water. But they're looking out for us. You see the stupidity and idiocracy of our minds is that we pay the same people to kill us, and then we get mad when they kill us, but yet we keep reelecting them. So 2020, we was blind as fuck. And unfortunately, 2020 was a 4-year, which was your vision test is what you are trapped in. 2021 was, holy shit, you moved into the trap. 2021 was a 5-year. 2021 was a 23-year. The passion of what you gave your energy to. 2020, with that Dragon's Wheel grid was, hi, don't have no fucking attachments. Don't have no attachments, because that is what gets your passion. The only thing you should have an attachment to is your goddamn self. And you can't attach to yourself because you are you. Oops. You are you, so there is no need for an attachment. That is how you were supposed to learn reciprocity, is by learning you and then using your vision test to see who looks like you. Because if you look like me and I don't have to attach to me, then holy shit, by transient properties, motherfucker, I ain't got to attach to you because we're on the same wavelength. There was no need for ego. There was no need to think that I own you or you own me. We're already flowing free. But we're not ready for that because we're arrogantly stuck in our stupid teachings of love, which love is not a vibration that most of you motherfuckers understand, which I can teach you that 500 different ways, but you'll always have a counter thought because you've already taught yourself on what your version of love is, even when it never really works out for you. But I digress. So 2021 was you supposed to have a more passion about you so that you can clearly see everything else. Because if you make something else more passionate than you, then that means the definition of you is based off of what is your passion. Did you catch that? That means something already owns your energy. My Lord, my Savior. Holy shit, that means I ain't going to be fine unless my Lord, my Savior is fine too. Instead of holy shit, I'm fine because I'm lording and saving myself. And now if there's somebody else out there, then we can talk. But most minds ain't ready for that. So 2021 was the year of passion and the year of movements. But if you're moving into the shit that you're already trapped in, then you really don't have a chance of getting out until you learn to keep still. So 2021, you heard me talk about stillness a lot of time. I got yet another tasking that year. It was initially called the geofence. I'm going to be a little bit disclosing an energy here in a second. The geofence was about dimensional perception. Remember I was telling you 2020 was a vision test, but a lot of the things I was doing in 2020 was showing you dimensional sight. It was basically, from my perspective and experience, showing you that when you look at a picture and you see layers and they create other pictures, like there's this beautiful picture being shown on Instagram right now. It's a live picture, and it starts out as one picture, and then it zooms out and it makes another picture, and it zooms out and it makes another picture, and that bitch zoomed out for almost 55 minutes, and it was like 900 different pictures inside of one picture. And each one were real pictures inside of a picture. That's the way the dimensional sight works, because everything is layered perception. There is no separation that people think. It's all layered together. You just have to learn how to see. Henceforth, 2020, the fucking vision test. You were supposed to learn how to see through the lower layers of dimensionality, your 1, 2, 3, 4 bullshit, and start seeing 5, 6 so that you can understand 7 or higher. And in my experience, it does not stop getting higher until you stop hiring yourself. You can make yourself go dimensionally as high as you want to, because motion is a choice. But the lower dimensions, say 6 and below, are more finite, so they have more energy and containment. They have a greater chance of being what fits the matrix instead of what is energetically quote unquote real. So 2021, you were supposed to be, well, all of 2020, you were supposed to learn how to start seeing through these dimensional layers. 2021, I got a task to make a geofence. It was supposed to separate dimensions 0 through 6. Dimension 0, basically source 0. Source is 0. It was the dimension that creates all other ones. 0 helped create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Anything beyond 6 is start getting into perceptions and shit. So with that, it was supposed to be cleansing them out, because they were all still merged together, but there were energetic imbalances going on in the middle. So in creating that, it was supposed to be a stabilization point. That one was 3,000 something gemstones. That was a heavy task, and that one was a lot of people still, and it still is. It's still active. I'm not going to walk around my house and show you, but it's still here in my home under my care. So that one was thrown together. Only, and this is what I told you, I was going to be a little disclosing in energy. Only something happened. In trying to keep it together, because it was so many gemstones, and I had a fear that the kids, especially my grandson, would shake it and move it. We covered it. Only we covered it with cellophane. If you know anything about cellophane, cellophane is an amplifier. It's basically, real energetically tight plastic that you burn together. And we sealed the gemstones in the board where all the 3,000 gemstones was, and it amplified it. Well, in amplifying it, it altered, and again, resonance only, it altered the whole makeup of all of those dimensions. Instead of them being separated and held in check, it moved the lines of separation out altogether. Basically, from the perspective of a lot of things that were working around that source box, which used to be the geofence, it took away the veils. So now dimension 0 was now granted access to all the other dimensions at the same time. Long story short with that one is it basically eliminated the ideology of Akashic records. Because if you were operating in, say, dimension 6, and you were working on some higher vibrational shit, the other version of you, if you understand the way time works on that level, could have been over in dimension 3 working on some human level shit. Well, now you were in dimension 3 and now could still see yourself in dimension 6 and still understand that it was you watching yourself. You understand that? And that probably will confuse a lot of you, but in working with that and then in doing a whole lot of fucking channeling and spirit board sessions between me and people I work with, let's just say we ran into a lot of disgruntled spirits who were trying to figure out why they were coming back as themselves in the form of their grandchildren, or why were they now being presented with themselves in the one time where they were married to their sister, but now they see the second time in another dimension where their sister was now their brother. You understand what I'm saying? It was all of these Akashic lies we got told that, well, that time 400 years ago and I was the Prince of Egypt and all that other shit. And then the next time I came back, I was somebody different. It was like, no, that time I was the Prince of Egypt, I was still who I am now, because time doesn't flow that way. Only you are now being able to watch all of the versions of every existence from yourself at the same fucking time, which was very disconcerting to a lot of damn spirits, and still is. We still have a lot of work to do. People I'm working with, It's still a hot tangled mess of spirits who thought that they only had one life, but now realize they had at least 500 or 600 lives, and were now viewing them all at the same time. And really, while there was no need to separate them, were wondering why they can't separate them. Some spirits did not want that much knowledge of themselves because they were fine thinking that they only were doing what they knew. To put that in a little better perspective, it was basically, say a spirit, let's just say John married Sarah. And when John died, when he went into his version of heaven, he wanted to see Sarah. But only when he got there, Sarah wasn't there because Sarah was still in another realm with who Sarah was waiting on. And then when he got there, the Sarah that he was waiting on wasn't there, but there was somebody else who he actually loved more than Sarah. But he didn't have memory of her because he was only focusing on Sarah as he thought he was John. But when he died as John, he now realized he wasn't just John, and that Mary was an even stronger energetic draw than Sarah, which basically freed Sarah from waiting on him because Sarah was just a filler in his story. Get it? And you probably won't. Or what happened to one of my friends is she ran into one of her past life husbands who we used to work with a lot over the years, and ran into one of her current husbands who was actually her past life husband. Realized that they were one and the same, but without that source box erasing that line between them, they didn't have the realization that, holy shit, that's who they were. But they now had that recognition because that source box eliminated the veil of experiences. And again, I know that sounds fantastic to a lot of people, but again, it's the shit that I've been working on for years, and I don't do this just so you feel ooh and all that other shit. I can give a fuck about y'all on that level. There's a lot of shit that goes on, and most of you'll never understand. But with that source box, which I said is still active, there's a lot of reckoning. There was a lot of basically rapture type events going on, revelation type events, to where spirits were making peace within themselves and now realizing that, holy shit, I don't need to wait for a heaven. I've already experienced everything, and I'm the only one holding myself in hell, the year of movements. I'm the only one holding myself here, waiting to see something more, when holy shit, I've already seen everything. And I still have the choice of creating more. Remember I was telling you, dimensionally, you can make yourself go as high as you want to. It's a field of separation within self. You can separate yourself infinitely. So 2021, we were finishing through that. What was it? Yeah, towards the end of 2021, came with another tasking, the fuck it grid. Because, again, people's energy was starting to get backed up again. So it was like, okay, 222 gemstones that time of energetic dump. Put in all of your negative experiences, all of your negative patterns that you realize within yourself, dump them, and we'll get rid of them so that you can kind of offset it. And so we put that together. That one came down right before Christmas. Matter of fact, it came down on the winter solstice, 12/21. That one, that one's heavy. That one was heavy. That one was a lot of darker based energy, and I don't really do separation of light and dark like that. But that one had the intention of dumping shit out. And there was a lot of shit that y'all were dumping. If you were part of the 222 that's working with me on that grid, some of y'all is holding on, or still are holding on to a lot of shit. Y'all might want to let that shit go. Here we are in 2022. 2022 is the year of foundations. If 2021 was the movement, what was moving you? It was moving you off of basically where you found yourself trapped. 2020, what you thought you were seeing. 2020, the overall thing that people thought they were seeing was the end of times, COVID. 2021, moving you, COVID. 2022, we're still moving with COVID. Our foundation is the new normal, which we cannot allow this let this thing become our new normal, because unfortunately, and like what I just saw a few minutes before I even came on here, which I didn't correlate to now, even that devil Bill Gates is still already petitioning for more billions, because he's like, we need to prepare for the next pandemic and it's going to cost billions more. Well, motherfucker, it cost you billions to build this one. Yeah, I said build. It cost you billions to make this last pandemic that we're still going through now, which is geo manufactured and now being geo bioengineered through vaccines and everything else. Not arguing anybody on any of that shit. If you can't look at your sky and tell that them motherfuckers are not normal, fuck you. Really, on behalf of the planet, fuck you. So if you don't understand that we are being inundated again through food, through air, through water, it's a direct biospheric warfare. The spiritual warfare is your stupidity. The spiritual warfare is that we're not smart enough to realize that physically these motherfuckers are killing us on all levels. So 2022 is the year of your foundations. If your foundations aren't safe, the planet ain't safe. The ground ain't safe. The trees ain't safe. The water ain't safe. The food ain't safe. Your motherfucking mind ain't safe. Your health ain't safe. Nothing's safe. So that's your foundation. You're not safe. But if you're just so hell-bent on just watching shit play out and hoping that it gets better, then you're already trying to learn how to exist in unsafe conditions. So this 222 will have you lined up into, holy shit, stuck into what you keep seeing. 2, reflection. You're only going to keep reflecting that what you're seeing. You're only going to keep reflecting that what you're doing. You're only going to keep reflecting that what you really are. We're complacent. We're complacent and we're compliant, and it will keep reflecting in everything that goes our way. If you want to look at it on a bigger scale, this time 2 years ago, a lot of people were getting sick with corona before they decided to give you the name for the corona because they were just trying to see how well it was going to work when they get out. I'd like to submit to you right now, we might not be actually sick with corona right now. We might be sick with the new whatever's coming out next. Remember, 2 years ago, a lot of people had flu C because they didn't have a name for corona, even though they had already released the name for corona, but they just, wait a minute, but let's see how many people actually get sick and get better. 2 years ago, a lot of us were fucking sick, and we didn't have a name for what the fucking sickness was. And now here we are 2 years later, a lot of people are sick, and they either calling it Omarion or Omicron or Fluron and suck my dick long and all this other shit. You get what I'm saying? Flurona. We don't know what the fuck we're sick with right now, but we just know that there's a bunch of sick motherfuckers who already have an idea. But we're complacent and compliant with watching them do the same shit to us. Them twos, we're watching the same people who kill us, the same people who we keep begging to set us free, the same president who ain't even the fucking real president, and even if he was the real president, he's a fucking traitor. Him and that bitch, sorry, I said it. Him and that bitch. So if we don't want to do nothing to get rid of them motherfuckers, but we just still sitting here waiting on them to change, they won't change because we won't institute fucking change. So our foundation is complacent. So we're going to get more of what we keep setting ourselves up for. We will have to collectively at some point, and here's the scary point is a lot of you motherfuckers are waiting on an alien invasion for this year, which has been long foretold. 22222. There's going to be alien invasion in the 222s and all this other shit. You waiting on the aliens and hoping that we going to play fucking Will Smith and the whole goddamn world's going to band together for Independence Day. When we may well, if there is an alien invasion, the motherfuckers might come down here and help these motherfuckers who is killing us kill us even quicker. I mean, if their whole fucking game is resources and we're already willing slaves, why set the slaves free? And I'm sorry if you never ran into a spirit that says you are in the religion of the enslaved, and they ain't just talking about fucking Christianity. Oops. So I'm just saying, if we don't look to do anything different, we're going to keep getting the same. And there's all kind of ideologies and timelines that are coming into play within the next 4 to 5 months, possibly, but time don't really flow the same in different levels. But we're setting ourselves up for failure because we're not proactive in our own individual journeys. We're only proactively journeying through our traumas. We're only trying to make better choices off of the shit we chose instead of being better about why we chose that shit in the first place. You understand? Instead of just saying, hey, we need to figure out why going back to what this reading was supposed to have been about, which I'm not even going to do a reading at this point, the Aquarian energy, the chance that we were given back in 2018 was, if you want to manifest, manifest from within yourself. You have the Aquarian field now. The newest timeline sets you apart from all of the other ones so that what you're creating is your responsibility. You are the Aquarian energy. And again, what I was taught and being told at that time was you have to understand that energetically, since y'all like to play the zodiac sign so much, the Aquarian sign is all 5 fucking elements. If you don't trust me, look at the goddamn picture for the Aquarian. The motherfucker's holding something. That's active fire. It's actively using energy. It's pouring what? Water. It's using its mind to think. It has its foot, one on earth and the other one in the water. It is using its mind, it's using air, it's using water, it's using fire, it's using earth, and it is actively showing itself to be in wholeness, so therefore it possesses spirit. So the Aquarian energy was designed to energetically interlink all of the basic elements that build this level of matrix and not just be consigned into one or two. You get it like the previous sign to Aquarius is Capricorn, which is traditionally a sea goat. It's earth and water, but we've changed tradition into what makes us feel nice and fluffy. But I'm just saying, even tradition ain't always right. So the Aquarian energy said, hi, you can manifest by using all of the elements within this matrix, but make them about you. We don't make them about you. We don't make them about ourselves. We make them about what we're going through. So the worst thing that can happen is if you don't have say-so of what you're going through and you're only going through what you have been programmed to go through, you're not in control. We're still not in control. We're still in response to everything that we've been going through for the past 2 years at the minimum, and we're setting ourselves up for more. We at some point will have to learn to come together within ourselves so that we can find the like energies to come with together and say no fucking more. And until we can get ready to say no more, we ain't shit. And again, you can look at this however the fuck you want to, but if a motherfucker can get mad about being taxed on their slaves and their tea and get ready to start a fucking a full-scale movement, I use that word, why can't we move? We in a whole lot worse than them motherfuckers in the 1700s. And I ain't even just talking about our fucking ancestors. I'm talking about the motherfuckers who thought they was free back then too. We are in a bad way. We are being killed. We are being killed spiritually, being killed physically, financially, emotionally, our health, the whole fucking nine. And we're just waiting on it to get better, when the whole problem might be it won't get better until we do. Until we stop getting worse at tolerating a small amount of motherfuckers who we've entrusted and empowered to be the authors of not only our demise, but our children and this whole fucking planet. And again, as I said, from my intimate workings with Gaia, I told her, choose yourself. Fuck us. Choose yourself. If you have to wipe us off, then oh well. Energetically, if we're a part of you, we ain't going nowhere anyway. So fuck us. We fucked ourselves, so fuck us. So I personally would hope for some of the shit that might happen in 2022, because we don't deserve to fucking be here. We lie to ourselves about who we think we are and how we are superior and inferior and all this other shit, and yet we still sitting here and procreating and making children and shit like that, and we ain't doing nothing to protect them. We ain't doing shit to protect our seeds or ourselves, and doing nothing but making fucking bunch of TikToks and posts. Sorry. So, like I say, I was going to do a reading, but I'm not. So I'll just leave it as basically 2022, what we might want to do. Go back to being source. Go back to being source, because you remember everything that we're going through is the results of what we're birthing. And if we're not going to birth something that is going to be towards our benefit, then that means you birth something that is guaranteed to be for your destruction. We have to choose us. Peace.